Okay, we are officially recording. So, welcome to the Afterglow orientation meeting. I am going to open in a quick word of prayer, and then I'm going to share one verse. And then that'll explain, I think, the heart of what we're here to do. So, first, Jesus, thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for your goodness to us. Thank you for loving us. And thank you for this opportunity. Help us to know how to love you better, love each other better, serve you better, and serve each other better. And may your will be done in this house. In Jesus' name, amen. So, this isn't a bait and switch, and I'm not going to give a sermon, but I do want to read Matthew chapter 11, verse 19. And I'm going to read it in the New King James, and then I'm going to read it again in the New Living Translation. And it says, "The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, 'Look, a glutton, a winebibber, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.' But wisdom is justified by her children." In the New Living Translation, it says, "The Son of Man, on the other hand, feasts and drink, and you say, 'He is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and other sinners.' But wisdom is shown to be right by its results." So, if I were to say, what is the mission, what is the goal, what is the heart of the Afterglow Christian Mission House? It is to friend people to Christ. So, if you're asking, what does it mean to be a part of the Afterglow Christian Mission House? Then I would say it means to friend and to serve people. That's what it means. And so then if you were to say, well, Dave, okay, what does it mean to friend someone? I would say, well, this isn't maybe the biblical or the definition of the word or the dictionary definition or whatever. But kind of practically, we're going to use, when we say to friend someone, it means to come alongside and to participate personally in another's life experiences, including the joys, the hardships, and the struggles. So if you're to say, what does that mean to come alongside and participate personally? It means to display love, mercy, patience, and compassion in another person's life experiences. Like the idea of being a friend is we are going to join in their life with them. We're going to participate in actually loving them ourselves. We're going to come alongside where they're at and love them in their joys, their hardships, and their struggles. Like, okay, well, what is this serve part? You said friend and serve. Well, this serve, we're going to define it here, is to be self-sacrificially committed to personally meeting the needs of others, regardless of their worthiness to receive it. So to be self-sacrificially committed to personally meeting the needs of others. So I'm going to set my time aside from maybe what I would want to do. I'm going to sacrifice my time or my money or my resources or whatever. I'm going to sacrifice that in order to meet someone else's needs, in order to help them, in order to come alongside them and be their friend, right? But the key, make sure we also, though, to serve means regardless of their worthiness to receive it. Because we are not here to say, you are worthy of me making you breakfast or any of that. We are just here to serve. It does not matter. Doesn't matter how you got here, who you are. Doesn't matter if you are the richest person in the world or the poorest person in the world. I am here to set myself aside, to come alongside you compassionately and love you. That's it. That's it. So the only way this is going to be possible, first of all, is we're going to have God help us to do this. Because as humans, I think a lot of time we'll start to say, well, these people don't even appreciate this. These people don't even, whatever it might be, Satan's going to try to use our humanness to get us to not want to have this joyful spirit of service because it is unhuman. We like to keep track of wrongs against us, and we like to do all this stuff. But Jesus is really the only one that is a true friend enough to come down when we're unworthy and spitting in his face and come alongside us anyway and love us the way we are. He's the only one that would do it. So he has to give us his spirit of friendship in order to pull this off. So I'm kind of saying, guys, the job is kind of superhuman. You have to kind of set yourself aside in all of your injustices and everything else and say, I'm just here to be your friend and meet your needs. And I think it comes through first. That's why I read that verse. We have to realize Jesus does this for us. He comes alongside and loves us and accepts us exactly where we are. He doesn't say, go change first. And we don't do that at the mission house. We don't stop people at the door and say, you got to go clean up first or whatever, and then you can come in. Jesus doesn't do that. We don't do that. So we are welcoming in all who will come. The broken, the lost, the hurting, everyone. Everyone. And we need the spirit of Jesus' friendship to help us to do this. We know this, right? And guys, sometimes people can be, well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. So let me just stop there. But first, make sure you know that the mission of the mission house is to friend and serve people first. That's it. So if you're going to be a volunteer, put all of your other agendas aside first. Like say you're like, well, I just can't wait to help people or to tell people about great things or to teach people about this or that. Or I can't wait. Okay, all great things, whatever, but set that aside. What you're here to do is to friend and serve, to welcome them in and say, it's okay. It's okay. How can I be a friend and help you? How can I wash your feet metaphorically by serving you a breakfast or bringing you water or whatever it is? That's the job. That's the job. Not changing people isn't the job. Friending and serving is the job. That's number one. So make sure, because a lot of times even me, I can be like, start to get agendas of how, no. Look, the job is to simply come alongside and love and accept and friend and serve. That's number one. All other results of people getting somewhere will stem out of the hope that brings. But that's number one. So, good thing today is called orientation. I'm not really teaching, I'm orienting you. When you walk in, I want our minds to know I'm here to set myself aside and friend and serve others. Doesn't matter if they cuss me out. Doesn't matter if they do me wrong. Doesn't matter if they hate my cooking. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. I'm serving my beautiful Savior by friending and serving others. That's all that matters. So I just really felt we have to make sure we understand that.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, he's said this several times, but, it's one thing to say, yeah, I don't mind where people are as far as, if they're dirty or poor or, whatever it may be, right? Laying down biases. But it's a whole nother animal when it's like they're not very friendly to you, right? Or you feel a personal offense, again, now we do obviously have house rules. We're not going to tolerate violence and, disrespect and things like that. But we have this justification in our mind that if somebody does you dirty, you get a pass from not having to love on them, right? Like, you know, and again, I think there's a level of respect that, and again, there's order here, but I think what Dave is getting at is really loving people who may not be very lovable at face value. And everyone has very different stories behind their life. And I tend to believe that if somebody has ugly coming out, there's probably a backstory of where they're at. And there's usually a hurt and a woundedness. Most people aren't just out to hurt people, but it's true that hurt people, right? And so I just think it's good to just call that important. And you did, Dave. You totally said that. But again, I think sometimes it's easy to come with the mindset of, oh, I don't mind, what their background is, or but whenever they're going to personally offend me, then that might be a whole nother story. Where again, I think it's possible that somebody might say something that would personally offend us, and that's part of this job as well, right?
So that really leads into what does acceptance really mean? I know that term probably gets thrown around a lot, and we want to use it here. But what does it mean that we accept someone, right? So for me, I look at everyone in order to not, because it would be tempting, I think, in humanness to a lot of times say, well, their life choices got them here. Or, well, if they would just go do this, or, well, if they just did that, it's like, okay, acceptance to me is, it just is. That's where they are. I accept that that is what is true. I leave all judgment of how they got there, why they're there, if they could be different, to God. I accept you are here. Whether it is true that your choices led you here, whether it is true that something could be different, whether all this other stuff is true, is between you and God. The fact is, here you are, and this is what's true about you. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay that that's where you're at. It's okay if you every single day purposely make the same choice that freezes you there. That's between you and God. I'm going to friend you and serve you regardless. That's what acceptance means. It means it is just true, and I'm just going to accept you in the truth and leave the why between you and God. Because guys, really, what is behind all this? They need hope before anything else can happen. And if we are their friend, it can help them to have hope. And all of these whys aren't going to matter. It isn't going to matter. The reason why is they don't have hope. That's why. So leave the judgment between them and God. And say, I'm just here to be your friend and serve you and give you some hope. Then maybe you'll have a different why to do something else. But we just accept it. It's just who they are. Somebody might say, well, they're just going to take this and go do that. Okay, I accept that. Well, you don't care that they're going to just use your... No. That's between them and God. I accept that that's who they are. I don't care. The caring part is for God to deal with. He can care about it if they're doing wrong. I don't got to care about that part. If they want to use me and think they're manipulating me, even though I know they're doing it over and over and over, I do not care. That's between them and God. I am here to friend and serve them, regardless if they do that or not. That's what acceptance means to me. Is to not say, well, there's a reason why. There's no reason why. That's between you and God. You're here. This is where you're at. This is where I'm going to come alongside you. Even if you're here till you die, I'll just stay beside you till you die. That's the job. Friend and serve is the job. Not to say, well, if they would do something different and until they... No, that's God's job. He will bring in their lives the ones that he thinks is good for all that stuff. We don't have to determine any of that. We friend and serve. That's it. That's what acceptance means here. It means we check our judgment at the door and say, we don't care how or why you got here. We're here to friend and serve you. We don't care. We don't care if you hate our political view. We don't care if you hate Christian. We don't care. We are just going to friend you and serve you, period. That's it. That's the job. That's what acceptance means. We're going to do it. We're going to leave the hows and whys and everything else to God, and we're just going to keep doing it. Regardless of who you are. I don't care if somebody comes in that is the epitome of everything opposite that you could think Christianity is. I'd be like, glad to see you. How can I be your friend? How can I serve you? Like, we can still do our job beautifully, guys, if we check all that other stuff at the door. See what I mean? But that we really have to have Jesus, the heart of friendship that I read about, because only he can check all that stuff at the door. He has to enable us to be able to do it. Right? Because we're going to carry our own opinions over to these people in our own humanness. We're going to say, if that's the way you feel about it, forget you. The only way to not feel and accept people the way they are constantly is to have the spirit that Jesus had of friendship that can do that like that. Because he is that way. And so that's what it means when I say we accept people. We don't determine how they got there. We just say, glad to see you. That's what it means. Even if they look the epitome of the opposite of whatever, it doesn't matter. Glad to see you. That's what it means. Any questions on acceptance? All right. So make sure we understand again. It's another bullet point I have, so it must have been important to me. We're not here to change people, but to friend and serve people, which produces hope, which produces change. See what I mean? That's the way we're going to do it. So if you say, I want to change people. Okay, first of all, it's kind of a long way. I want to see people change is probably a better way to approach it. But I'm going to do that through being their friend and giving them hope and serving them. Yeah, you are enough. I love that. I love that. So we're not here to change people. We're here to friend them, give them hope, serve them, which will give them hope, which will hopefully help them change. That's the job. So don't come into this saying, I'm going to go change a bunch of people. Well, okay. Hopefully we're going to go see a bunch of people changed by true friendship and true service of Jesus. Hopefully it's more like that. Hopefully we have more of that kind of mentality, I think. Okay. So this is important, guys. And I need everybody to know this. And this only applies to my opinion about the mission house. This is the mission house orientation. So I'm orientating you about how the heart and how the mission house flows. So politics has no place in the mission house. I believe politics are important in everyone's life, in Christian and non-Christian people, everyone's life, but do that on your own time in your own homes. If you want to have a political discussion, go somewhere, have a political discussion. Beautiful. Not here. This is not political grounds here. If somebody gives a political opinion, we're going to do our best to say, well, we don't generally talk about politics here, but, we can talk about politics some other time, or thanks for sharing. I usually just say thanks for sharing. But we really, if it gets out of control and they're talking about politics, be like, there's really one general rule, and that's no politics discussion. I mean, really. This is not political ground, and we got to be careful on that. Satan will use politics to destroy this house in 2 seconds. And politics in my mind in a nutshell is man's answer for how man should live in society for man. And I don't care about any of it. Now it's important. Yes. But that's, look, we're here to love, friend, serve people and impact them for Christ. That's why it's the Christian Mission House, right? We're not here to debate politics, to say who's right, who's wrong, Do that on your own time somewhere else. It's important for Christians to talk about politics. It's important for everyone to talk about politics. But not here. Not here. Do not. Like, if you find yourself well, I think that's stupid. If somebody says, well, if Republicans would just do this, or if Democrats would just do that, don't find yourself coming back and just saying, well, true, but politics is for another day or another time. Deflect. Do not engage. Do not engage. Politics are off limits here. Like, the best of our ability. I cannot say that enough. That's because a lot of places say two subjects, politics and religion. Okay. I'm also in line with that. We're not going to talk about religious politics either. Do you know what that is? Denominations. Different theological stances we're not going to debate either. We're not going to debate worldly politics like the Democrats or spiritual politics like differences in different religions or denominations or anything like that. Okay? This is the Christian Mission House. We will talk about Jesus Christ, if he's ever mentioned, and the kingdom that he proclaimed. We're independent other than that. Now, here's another thing that I want you to say. When I said the politics is off lines all the time, off grounds. We don't talk about different political stances. And then, unless you are in a scheduled time of biblical talk or devotional time or anything like that, we do not generally discuss religion itself either in general community times.
So,
We're here to friend and serve. So like in a community breakfast in the 9 to 10:30 time, I don't pull out a devotional and start doing it during breakfast. I do that on purpose. On purpose. I'm here to friend and serve at that time right then. That's what Jesus was doing when he was sitting there. So then, after I'm their friend, I hold Bible study times, discussion times, things like that. And then people can choose to come and hear me or not. But see how I kind of separate the two?
That's happened. People will be like,
And I do that on
I'd
purpose.
love to go to your Bible study.
I do that very specifically on purpose. And so if you are being a volunteer and running one of the meals, for example, overseer, it is not time to go share the gospel. It is not. I'm not saying you're not allowed to say the name. Don't hear me say what I'm not saying. And when in specific training times, we'll go into more details. But I just want to make sure, like, I don't want any type of, like, okay, I'm going to read a scripture of the day or thing like that going forward, because I want people to know that regular general community breakfast is an independent time where I can go and be safe. Because sometimes when you start, I know this is going to seem weird, but when you start talking about Bible and Christian stuff, there are people that have been hurt and stuff that do feel unsafe in some of those environments. And so now, going forward, when we have more volunteers and there might even be maybe more of like a devotional breakfast where somebody can have a few people in there that want to go participate in something like that, which is great. I want more of that stuff happening. But we got to understand, when you're here and you punch in, politics is at the door. I'm here to represent the image of who Christ is by friending and serving others. Now, if somebody asks me about Jesus, I'm going to gladly share them about Jesus. But I'm not coming in to preach to them about Jesus or to necessarily teach them. It might be included, but I'm here. Am I making sense? Am I making a good line? So I hope I'm not saying, well, you're not allowed to talk about Jesus. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that you're not here at that time to do that role. If you're excited about doing that, I want to have a devotional and share with Jesus. You are more than welcome to book any of our areas that we have. You can book and hold a little
Bible study.
whoever's devotional at this time. You know what I mean? Certainly welcome to do it. I'm just saying compartmentalize your roles. Make sure you have two different hats so you can switch them out.
We want people to know that when they're walking into breakfast, they're walking into a breakfast. That
We're not doing the bait and switch on you.
Type of a thing. We want people to feel that comfortableness, that freedom. That they're not going to get necessarily what they would consider preached at in those moments. But I mean, everyone knows, I think, that we're here because of Jesus. We love Jesus, right? But that's where we have special times. Hey, we're gonna have a Bible study Tuesday night. We're gonna have this
God of all comfort or
God
whatever.
of all comfort service. We do say the Sunday meal is the one meal that's different, right? Sunday we eat as a family, and Sunday
I
we
give
have-
one verse and a
we
quick
do have
devotional.
devotion during Sunday meal, but that everyone that we advertise that, like we advertise that, you know. But the rest of the meal times, we are just simply here to friend and serve and accept people at face value, no matter what they believe, no matter what they think, wherever they come from. They're going to come in and enjoy a meal and good conversation and just connect in the ways that we actually do have common ground.
So make sure you punch out politically. I know, like, if you're a real political person or whatever, and you're sitting in a group and man, it's just something that boils you, you might need to pray and have Jesus send a special spirit to you to be able to shut your mouth or whatever. But it is important that we don't become political
I
here.
want to say this too. David's recording this. So I don't want anyone in this
Excuse
room
me.
to feel like, man, they really think I'm about to like bark down some political. It's not like that. This is.
I could be talking to anybody.
This is going to be seen much more broadly than the people who are in this room. So definitely don't feel like you're being like, you know, we don't have concerns about anybody here.
And-
we're just setting some precedents.
And make sure you hear me say, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
When we have the rest, all of, like, I like Muslim and all the other religions and stuff, and some of the community, they wanna pray for the meal, we respect that, right?
If some,
Serving.
So, no, it's the Christian Mission House.
This house, but they stop in and they're a different religion, and they wanna say their prayers. Do we-
Oh, if they want to say their own prayer, absolutely. If you're asking if I would lead the Muslim prayer, no, because it's not the Muslim Mission House. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, as long as you're not, yeah, as long as they're not like,
Situation where that gets a little touchy.
that's a great question. So his question was, would we respect somebody like, say, a Muslim or somebody from a different religion came in and wanted to pray in their own way, you know, for a meal or whatever it might be? Look, I have no problem with that. Now, we get somebody in here, hey, I want to sacrifice this chicken real quick and drink the... No, okay. All right. Okay, wait a minute. So, I mean, so at some point, I'm going to have to say, and I have to say, if it is offending others or taking others in a place that would offend their... Sure, no. The general rule is our general prayer, if we do one, will be a Christian prayer, since we're the Christian Mission House. We only do that really on Sunday dinners. Well, I don't even do it at breakfast because I let people do their own personal thing. But if someone wants to do a personal prayer and like you notice like, well, I think it's a Muslim prayer, it's none of your business. As long as it isn't impeding on you or others, none of your business. We're here to friend and serve. I can be a friend of a Muslim. I can be a friend of another person, period, right? And so, yes, great question. We do not impede other people's religion unless, now there could be a time where you're like, man, I don't really know. They're like reading the Quran really loud and okay, yep, they might be crossing a line. There could be chances, but as a general rule, if they're not impeding us, we allow them to be themselves and express themselves the way that they want to. Does that make sense? Good. Great question, Jim. So I did have a follow. Oh, and also no, yes, think of cool, fun ways. Guys, if we had a lot of people running the breakfast and you want to come do a little devotional for the breakfast, do it. Say, hey, guys, I want to do the morning, even if you can only do the Wednesday morning Kathy's devotional or whatever, and you want to take a few in that room. Awesome ideas. Use those kind of ideas. Use those kind of fun things. Just don't do them in the general community area. Do a designated, we're doing this here if you want to join. That's the way it plays out.
Dave is hoping, you know, as we have the volunteer support, he wants to do on some of the breakfasts or maybe some of the dinners, like a support group with maybe dealing with different addictions or
Yep. There will be that.
things like that, you know, so the regular meal will be happening, right? But then whoever would want to join him in that meeting can also go do that, you know, so that's basically the same thing we could
Yeah, and down the road, I mean, if we had a lot of people and a lot of volunteers, we could have the support group breakfast going on the same time a devotional breakfast was going on, same time a little craft breakfast, and then the community. I don't care.
There's lots of
Whatever
space in
we
this
do,
house that's not
it don't
being
matter.
used.
You know what I'm saying?
We have room to grow.
I'm just saying the general community way that we approach our meals and things is it's segmented. We have safe community spaces, and then we have all these around that we can do our other. Is that making sense to everybody? All right. So one thing to remember too, if you are a volunteer here, this is what I use as a general rule so that you don't get frustrated. Forget that other people came before you and forget that others are going to come after you, if possible. So I'm glad you asked. So when I walk in the door, I forget, I try to forget, regardless of the condition of where I came in, that anybody was here before and say, it just is. Right? Because otherwise I'll be like, well, why is the bathroom still dirty, the trash still full and everything around? Because I'd be like, well, I'm remembering somebody was there, and I'm implying they should have done it. But the way the mission house can only work is if we forget that. We walk in because what I've noticed, because you have to forget that other people come after you too. So do your best and not say, well, another crew's coming in, so I'm going to do it. But then I said, if possible, because what happens 99% of the time, and this is going to lead to the last point. We deal with all kinds of people. And sometimes I have to, or whoever's here, might have to kind of coordinate having people leave, taking people all at once to locations, all kinds of stuff. They might not have any time to do anything. They might not even have time to have flipped off or forgot to flip off the burner of the coffee pot, right? So if I walk in just as whatever it is. I'm not going to judge that there was people there, that whatever. That's kind of how I run that out. When I walk in, I forget that there was people there and say whatever I'm walking into is what it is. When I leave, if possible, I don't say, well, I'm just going to leave that and the next ones will get it. I forget there's people coming after, if possible. If I got to just leave or if you guys got to leave, that's okay. The main part of the mission house is not having a clean, orderly, tidy, whatever mission house. It's loving and serving people. It's friending and serving. People are always first. If you got to sit and talk with someone and they're crying and you're encouraging them and then you just left and the whole place is a mess, I don't care. I do not care. I am ecstatic that you had an opportunity to love and friend someone the way you knew how. Am I saying let the house go to pot? No. But I'm saying, look, guys, we're here to friend and serve people to Christ. That's the job. You come in, you say, hey, there's trash and stuff everywhere. They must have really had a reason. A lot of people, this must have been beautiful when they left. Like a lot of people they could serve and impacting that they didn't have time to do this. Like it's actually a good thing they didn't have time because they were busy working with actual people. The people are what's important, not the things. I would rather somebody love somebody the last second than take the trash out. Honestly. And I'll come in the next day and take it out as if nobody was there. It won't matter, guys. Always first, make sure our hearts say, we are here to friend and love and serve people. That's the job. Sure, we don't want a messy, trashy, whatever place, but it ain't gonna be. I'll come in and steam clean the carpets when we got to. We'll have people come in and do the deep cleaning when we need to. Don't worry, we won't ever get there. If you feel like we've ever arrived there and you say, Dave, well, look, it's on. Fine, I'll listen to you, but we're not gonna end up there, okay? Just make sure our hearts are always friending these people.
So basically, if I'm hearing you correctly, before you leave, if you have time, leave it nice.
Right.
But if you arrive and it's not left nice, have grace for whoever left it that way.
Well, just assume they were loving people so much that they didn't have time to be good for that. That must have been a powerful day. They must have loved people right up to the time they had to leave and didn't even have time to do this. That's fantastic. That's what's beautiful. It's not beautiful to change the I don't care. It's beautiful that you loved people right up to the last second and you had to leave. That's more beautiful. And that's what happens a lot of times with me and others I see. And then, so just keep that in mind when we come in. It's not about the house. It's about the people. It's about friending and accepting and loving the people. And that's just part of the job. Now, the last point I have on here, and then I'll tell you what I need from you guys. But the last thing I need you to know from the orientation is, guys, we have been and we are more, and it's going to get more. We work with the least of these. We welcome everyone who everyone else has been kicked out of everyone else. This is the last place. Like, honestly, people, if they're walking around like there's literally, I've been kicked out of everywhere in town. I want this to be the last place of hope that you could come. Like, the only way you won't be able to be here is if there's something that's just absolutely forcing the issue, because this is the last line of hope right here, guys. And we get people here that honestly, they're where they're at. And yes, it can be hard to understand them sometimes. They can be moody. They can be in such the most hopeless states that it displays itself in unsocial ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it can be really, really, really hard. And they can be unloving and whatever, right? They're like, we are welcoming these type of people. And we really need to just beg Jesus and say, hey, you're going to have to give us a heart to love those people like you do. You really are. And help us to know, because guys, it's tough. Like sometimes you could get somebody, they might be strung out or something and have a little mental problems, and they're saying something over and over and you're not understanding them. And you can tell they're kind of upset, and they can tell you don't understand, but you just can't understand. And you're like, God, what do I do? I don't know. Do I just tell a person I can't understand? Like, there's all this awkwardness of all this stuff. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to have training and I'm going to walk you through some of it. But guys, I don't know either. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. We're welcoming the least of these, and they got all kinds of problems, and they're hurt and they're broken and they're lost. And so it's just part of the job. We have to come in and just say, it's okay. And it's going to be awkward and it's going to be frightening, and I'm not going to know what to do. And I'm going to wonder if I handled it right. But we're going to have to be able to walk away and say, Jesus, I did the best I knew how to love and serve the best I knew how. And that's it. And we're going to have to live at peace at that. And we're going to have to rely on him to help us and to give us strength and wisdom in those times, because it's hard. It is hard. I don't know what to do in those times either. God's helped me a lot since February. But that's the job. That's who we're working with. And it's uncomfortable. And we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have trainings. And I'm going to teach you, if there's just situations where you're like, man, I don't know what to do and I can't handle, I'll teach you how to shuffle people to other people who might be a little better or more experienced at it and stuff like that. But just know that's who we're welcoming here. We're welcoming the last line. And you're going to have everything. We're going to have everything from addicts to homeless to who knows. And that's the job. And the only way to be able to do that and to have wisdom and to have a heart to even want to do it is through the Spirit of Jesus. The friendship that we read about at the beginning, the friendship of Jesus. So anyway, that's all I think I need you to know immediately as far as get you oriented. Okay? When you're here to friend and serve others in the name of Christ. If they ask you, well, why are you doing this? Why are you here? Why are you volunteer here? Perfect opportunity to say, well, since you asked, set me free. And Jesus, whatever your little testimony might be, because that's how it works, and you're welcome to share that and things like that. But we're here, though, to friend and serve other people to Christ. That's the job. So if you want to do that, we're not going to be political at all. And if you feel like, okay, I got a good grasp on that, I might not be able to be non-political all the time, but God's going to help me. And if I find myself and it's a habit, I'll just break the habit. Now, I'm not saying don't be a political person. If God's leading you to have a political discussion group or whatever, go have one. Just don't have it here. If you want to, there are ways to sign up. You can go to the website.
I was just going to say, do you want to stop this video for right now for...
I want to tell how to sign up on the website on the video.
Yeah, I got a good idea though. Keep going. You're good.
So go to the afterglowmissionhouse.com website. Go to the 3 bars in the middle on the top, the drop-down tab thing. It's 3 bars, I call it. go down to, what's it called, babe?
No,
I'll just do it as
Volunteer
well.
interest. So what I was gonna say is we can have this video be shown to anyone actually who fills out this form as part of their orientation. So, but
Yes.
for you guys today who have not done that yet, if you go to Afterglow Mission House, I did this morning, just so you know, and click on the menu bar and go to volunteer interests.
Does everybody see that?
It says interested in volunteering, and then it basically explains that right now we're open for breakfast 7 days a week, and then evenings, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday lunch, which again, that's gonna start back up again August 1st, which is right around the corner. But we really would like to be open more than that if we have the volunteer support to do it. So basically, we're wanting to find out how much you're wanting to work. So there's options like 1 to 5 hours a week, 1 to 5 hours a month, right? You know, it could just be different for people. And then also, when are you available to work? So if you're like, I got a lot of availability, I don't have too many things I'm committed to right now, so I could pretty much work any time of the week, but I don't want to work 40 hours a week, you know what I mean, kind of a thing. Let us know then. I'm available Monday mornings, Wednesday evenings, Saturday afternoons, you know what I mean, whatever it might be, and then we'll take the amount of hours you want to work and know how we can fill in the gaps for the time frames. So again, right now, the breakfasts, the dinners, but if you are available at times that are not during those times, let us know, because that will let us know when we might be able to open up more hours to be open. Okay?
So go to Afterglow Mission House, go to the drop down menu bar,
Yep.
go to, what does it say?
Volunteer interest.
Volunteer
And then
interest.
scroll down, there's a place to put your name. I did ask for birthdays because we need to know if you're over 18. Now 16 through 18 can volunteer, but there just has to be an adult as part of that. But so we need to know birthdays is why I've got that. And then it has the amount of hours you want to work. You can drop down, and then it's got the time frames. And then it has like how.
Yeah, so after you put in your name and stuff, be sure to put in like all these boxes right under that.
It
Has like
is
Monday
select.
mornings, Monday afternoon, Monday evening. Do those because it will grow based on, like, if I came on here and saw, well, I got 7 people signed up for Tuesday evening. Well, now I know I can add maybe another support group or something like that because I got people that are going to be able to oversee and stuff.
Yeah.
So fill out, make sure you click when you are available. That now's the time to actually start doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Hold on, she had a question.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just want, if you don't have like I babysit my great granddaughter and I don't know until Mondays what days I'm gonna
Yeah.
have her. I would be able to like say, I can be there on Monday because then that next Monday I'm
Sure.
gonna be babysit.
Well, that's, you can just talk with
So-
Dave, and we can be flexible with that, you know what I mean? So, there's not a comment section, that would probably be a good thing
Maybe
to
even,
add.
yeah, to add a comment like some Mondays.
Yeah,
Like, just not sure. Because then if I had a couple other some Mondays people, I could.
Yeah, 'cause my
Piece the some
grandson
Mondays
works at
together.
Petco, so his varies.
I
all the
should,
time.
we know this now, cause you just told us. So you can kind of put like maybe times frames that you would like to, but we know that obviously. this could-
Put what you think you might be available, and then I'll call and say, okay, what does that look like?
this week or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And then there's also then the different crews you would be interested in. So we've got overseeing, which basically is just you're here as somebody to just, you know, be here as a volunteer. You know, while Dave would be having the group, you would be out here, you know, just helping people if they need food or direction or whatever. Kitchen, so cleaning or kitchen cooking, cleaning, special events, get the word out. You know, as far as like, you know, marketing or, you know, different things like that.
I will say this
First
though.
Fridays, we'll eventually do first Fridays. That would be like get the word out crew.
If you're not really sure, like, well, I don't really know what I would want to do. Like, there's all this. I'm not really sure. I don't really know about any of this. Just click overseer. That's a good catch-all category. And then when I contact you, you could say, well, I was also thinking about maybe this or maybe that, or,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there. Because I'll contact you once you fill out the form
This is
anyway.
a general interest form, but you're not officially signing up for any commitment here. right?
Right.
This is letting Dave know kind of where your interests are at, and then you'll actually have a real conversation with him specifically about where you want to fit in this ministry. That sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Okay.
So okay, do you guys feel like you're properly oriented to volunteer here? And do you have any questions, comments,
Kind of
concerns?
the spirit of the volunteer, right?
I do feel like, since I'm kind of a novice at this kind of thing, I would hopefully be paired with someone who has more experience. But that's just my.
Yeah, so like you're
That's
volunteering. And
That's
you're
a
not
good
really sure.
comment.
Yeah.
Because there probably is people that are like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to start doing that. So this I will say is I will not pair everyone who starts volunteering, no one is going to be on their own until they feel they're ready to graduate and go on their own. I will always pair a new person with people I feel like could handle whatever might like that kind of thing. And if somebody's like, well, I'm not just not the personality to ever be the one to like handle confrontation. Well, that's okay. When I talk to you and stuff, and like the more like you decide, be like, okay, I want to be present but not in charge. Okay, great. Then I can take somebody with a little more overt personality and pair you with them, and then maybe you could be the little gentle side to their little rougher side. Perfect pair. You know what I mean?
And no one's
So-
gonna be here by themselves either. Like we're not gonna have
Right.
any volunteer be
Ever.
themselves by themselves. That's not gonna happen. If it were to happen, it would probably be Dave. If Dave
Well, that
was,
has that.
you know, if Dave was here, that's a little bit different. But from a volunteer standpoint, we would never have somebody just being the only person. We try very much to always have a male and a female volunteer at all times just to kind of prevent.
I'll say this: the two categories we need the most are general overseers and security. Because I do think if we had not because there's a need to address insecurity, but because if we had a security team, then the overseers would feel more confident and comfortable knowing there's always somebody, because we have cameras and audio and video in place. There could always be somebody monitoring. There could always be, and you could have, we have panic buttons so we can implement all this stuff to where people, if you had a team, especially if they're starting to get a crowd, you call somebody on security, they just come sit. They just act like a person showed up for coffee and they're part of the security team. And they have like the security measures or whatever. So that's really, if you feel interested in security, reach out, or even especially both an overseer that also could handle security type issues. So,
But I will say, and we should add this, like this place has been beautiful. Like we've had
It has.
so many people come to this home that we do not know, we've never met before, had so many different backgrounds, and there's just been much love. All I can say is there's a peace in this place, and people who I'm being told are normally, struggle, they've been great. And we love them. And so, we've had people be like, oh, they shouldn't come or whatnot. Like, no, that's not, they can come, right? That anyone's welcome at the Afterglow Mission House. So, like, this is really important. And I would say, God has really just had his hand on it. So, in a really special way. So,
any other good questions or comments?
because I was going to say this would be a great orientation video. So, after people fill this out, they can watch this. Of course, we could stop the video. I could edit it. But, yeah.
Say that again.
Well, I'm gonna stop talking. You keep going.
I think I'm done.
Okay.
That's all what I wanted people to be oriented on is that when you're just a general overseer or even house cleaner, unless you booked a specific room for a specific thing, like a Bible study or devotional or whatever, the job is to accept that people are where they are. It's just the truth of who and where they are, to accept them there, to friend and serve them the way that Christ friends and serves us. That's it. That's the job. That's the whole job in a nutshell. And so I want you to know that. I want you to know that includes being non-political, both non-political as far as like Democrat, Republican, that sort of thing, but also non-political. I don't care if you're a Baptist and you're a Nazarene and you're a what, I don't care. Like, we're not getting political even in religious type stuff. We're just here to friend and to serve people and accept them where they are. Like, that's what I need people to know, the general ways to relate to people while you're here. That's the orientation, right? So that's the ways to relate to people. If they start going on and on and on about, well, Satanism is the only way, just, okay. You don't have to have a conflicting opinion unless you're in a Bible study. You say, well, that's when you can get into whatever. But in general, we're just like, you do you. You know what I mean? But we're here to friend and serve. Same thing about if they give a political opinion. Be like, well, I don't talk about politics at the mission house because it just ain't what we do here. But I'll talk to you about it some other time. Meet them for coffee. Hash out politics. I don't care. Just don't do it here. Okay? So we're just going to accept and friend and serve people. We all on the same page? We all good?
Can you just say
All
it one
right.
more time? I'm joking.
We are here to accept, friend, and serve people.
You guys, I hit stop.
Yeah, make sure you go to afterglowmissionhouse.com and fill out that form.
Volunteer interest.
Volunteer
fill out the
interest.
form. It'll get emailed
Fill out
to
the
us,
form.
And then Dave will reach out to you.
Do your day and time.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you.